This is the New American Media.
Broadcasting to you from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system. Planet Earth. North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles, to be specific. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Unhappy Hour. I'm your host, Brian Engelman. You're listening to thenewamericanmedia.com and the TNAM radio network. And the music you're listening to features Sean Flynn and Johnny Rabb, two amazing drummers. This day after Thanksgiving, what am I thankful for? I'm thankful that I got to participate in creating this song with two amazing musicians. And post-production with my brother Chris Engelman, putting that song together called Metro by Twist of Nothing, composed by Sean Flynn. So I'm thankful for that. But as a sports fan, I'm not thankful for too much. That's why the show's called the Unhappy Hour. I'm a Cleveland Indians, Cleveland Browns, Cleveland Cavalier, and Ohio State Buckeye fan. Other than Buckeye, the Cavs, Indians, and Browns have not been able to provide me with any championships in my 34 years, so what am I thankful for? Am I thankful that I haven't had that occur? No. That's why the show's called the Unhappy Hour instead of the Happy Hour. So thanks, Cleveland. Thanks a lot. But welcome back. This is the show after Thanksgiving. So, what am I thankful for as a Cleveland sports fan? I'm going to get into all that, and we welcome all of your comments. Answer that question. What are you thankful for as a Cleveland fan? Send us your comments on Twitter. We're at American_media_. Like our page on Facebook. Search The New American Media on Facebook with spaces in between. The New American Media, and like our page. Check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. What are you thankful for as a Cleveland sports fan? Well, let me count the ways. Well, let's see. I am thankful for the humor of Mike Polk Jr. Yes, Mike, you almost did our show one time, about a year ago. I don't know. We weren't able to set it up, but we need to bring you back on the program for real this time, instead of just almost setting it up. Let's actually bring you on the program, because your humor really cracks me up. And in fact, you know what? I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm going to. I'm going to look this up so that you can hear, well, let's just... You're all familiar with the Factory of Sadness, right? It's a rant by comedian Mike Polk Jr. about Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns and how miserable it is being a Cleveland Browns fan, essentially. Yelling at the stadium, you're a factory of sadness. But this is from a couple of days ago. Let's just listen to this. There's a specific I'm just letting it rip. I didn't even pre-screen this one, so I'm not sure what type of coarse language there will be. But if language is something that offends you, I'm sorry. We're going to play it, because this is what we do, okay? Okay, take a listen. I'm thankful for this as a Cleveland sports fan, because he says what I'm thinking. He says what my fans say. He says what my friends and family say. He says what we're all thinking, and he's very funny. So move over, Drew Carey. Actually, you're both from Cleveland. You're both comedians. You guys need to kick it. I haven't seen a video with those two together, but we should. Oh, and Hugh Hewitt. You ever hear of that guy, Hugh Hewitt? He's a radio host and a big Cleveland sports fan. To get him on our program as well. All right, so I'm sending out an open invitation for Mike Polk Jr. and Hugh Hewitt to call us, to contact us on Twitter, on Facebook. Leave a comment on our YouTube channel, whatever. Contact us, and we will book you on the show for the Unhappy Hour. But anyway, here's Mike Polk Jr. I'm happy that someone else is saying what we're thinking.
Well, that certainly could have gone better. Attending these games...
Okay, let me set it up. This is from 4 days ago, the Browns-Steelers post-game thoughts. Yelled at the stadium. Okay?
Well, that certainly could have gone better. Attending these games feels more and more like I'm going to a shitty job that I have to pay to work at. And boy, as a Cleveland taxpayer, let me tell you, I personally can't wait to spend another $2 million a year to keep this party going. Lord knows we don't have any other use for that money in Cleveland. Luckily, everything's perfect already. But hey, the bright side is we're gonna have some sweet new escalators. Jackpot! What a game today. Apparently, Jason Campbell has a concussion, and I actually envy him because that means he might not remember this game. So now Brandon Whedon's going to start again next week, which means he's already probably staring down the first receiver he's going to throw to. You ever think about what a better world it would be if young women at Pittsburgh bars were as good at avoiding Ben Roethlisberger as he is at avoiding the Browns' pass rush? Here's a simple request that I have for Browns management, and please pass this along to Mr. Haslam through his attorneys. Please don't say that you understand our frustration. You can't. You just got here, and you'll probably be gone in 1 or 2 years. That's how it works here. Players, coaches, GMs, even owners get to leave eventually. We are the only ones who stick around. The only two constants in Cleveland Browns football are misery and unwavering devotion from us dumbass loyal fans. So don't pretend to understand, don't tell us to be patient, don't tell us it's a process. The beauty of the NFL is that you can turn around a franchise in one off season if the people in charge are actually competent. If you don't believe me, ask the Colts or the Chiefs. But while other teams are getting better, we're still paying Mike Holmgren, which means that we personally bought him 3 racks of ribs for dinner tonight in Seattle. Now, I will be back here next Sunday when you play the Jaguars, although quite frankly, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to get drunk enough to make that game watchable. But the difference between me and you, the Browns, is that I'm at least going to try!
Bravo. Bravo. Bravo to Mike Polk Jr. Once again, open invite. Somebody tell Mike Polk Jr., and if you're listening, Mike, it's time that you join our program. I gotta reach out and find you. Again, this is actually up to me to make sure that I contact you. That's how it works around here when you're the producer, the engineer, the guy that talks, the guy that runs the websites, the guy that does all that jazz. But anyhow, bravo. It has been so hard being a Cleveland sports fan, especially a Cleveland Browns fan. I grew up on the Bernie Kosar days, and I remember the drive and the fumble. Ugh. I remember that. That crushed me. And then I was... What was I? It was my senior year in high school when the Cleveland Browns were stolen and went to Baltimore. We were the only ticket in town. Which was cool, playing for an undefeated high school football team. I played defensive end. I loved it. I mean, it was cool that it was you and the Buckeyes. The Browns were gone. And basically what I'm saying is, as a Browns fan, I've had plenty of misery to wade through in my lifetime. And Mike Polk, kudos to you for yelling it at the stadium. It's hilarious stuff, and I completely agree. I'm happy about the Trent Richardson trade, because this front office inherited a bunch of players, and they had to see what they had. I mean, they even went with Whedon to start this year. And it turns out he's just not really cutting it. But a couple games into the season, we traded Trent Richardson, running back. It was our first pick 2 years ago. Thought he was the next, second coming of Jim Brown. But Jim Brown, though, called him an ordinary running back, which is pretty interesting, actually. Then you look at what he's doing with Indianapolis right now, and you go, well, maybe he is a very, very, very ordinary running back that played on a very great Alabama team. I don't know, but now the Cleveland Browns have another chance to rebuild the franchise. They're stockpiling draft picks, and frankly, that's what you have to do. Look at the Cavs. I don't know that they did it the right way. I don't know that they had too many other options. But yeah, they did. And this just doesn't seem to be working as a Cavs fan. So, like Mike was saying, look at the Chiefs. Look at them turn it around. Look at the Chiefs. Look at the Colts. They turned it around. So, anyway, but I'm happy about the Trent Richardson trade because, as we saw, you can get somebody like Josh Gordon in the second round. I'm thankful for Josh Gordon, by the way. I'm thankful that I drafted him in my fantasy league and stashed him on the bench for 2 games. Whoo, coming big down the stretch. What do you have, 43 points for me last week? That was sweet. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for helping me stay in first place in my fantasy football league. But when Russell Wilson can get taken, what is it, in the third round? I mean, you just got to draft right. So let's go out. I mean, there's a core group of pretty good players on this Cleveland Browns football team. Some of them have to gel. Some of them have to have a piece or two added to the puzzle. And I think they're all going to do a lot better. So I'm happy and I'm thankful. Even though it's probably not going to be a very high draft pick with the Colts, I'm happy to have another first-round pick for Trent Richardson. You know, the Colts, they're leading the division. They're 7-4. In the AFC, they trail New England 8-3, Denver and Kansas City both at 9-2. Won't be a number one draft pick, but it'll be a draft pick, and hopefully we can make something decent out of it because we need it. So I'm happy for that. I'm happy that the Cavaliers have Kyrie Irving to build around. But I kind of need to see the results. I'm not really sure what's going on, except that he's a piece of the puzzle that relates back to LeBron James. But in LeBron James, I am happy, I am thankful that we're going to hear nothing about is LeBron coming back to Cleveland for the next year. Sweet. That wasn't difficult enough for the past 3 or 4 years. When you did this to me as a sports fan the first time around. So what am I supposed to get excited? My ex-girlfriend might come back around? You're kind of our ex for a reason. Anyway, but LeBron James is flattered by Cavs fans. Let me read this one to you from Brian Windhorst of ESPN.com. A group of Cleveland Cavaliers fans that raised $50,000 to put up billboards and Whoa! They raised $50,000 to put up billboards and passed out several thousand Come Home LeBron t-shirts on Wednesday night. They got LeBron James's attention, but they did not get an answer. Quote, "It's very flattering," end quote, James said before the Miami Heat's 95-84 win over the Cavs. And by the way, I watched that game. Whew. I can't believe it was that close. Anyhow, quote, "Anytime you have fans who appreciate the way you play, it's humbling." James, however, stuck with his edict from training camp when it comes to his impending free agency next summer. He is not focusing on it. "I'm not talking about free agency right now," James said. "My only concern is winning a third championship." Early last year, James said he could envision himself returning to play in Cleveland someday, if the circumstances worked out. That quickly resulted in a thaw from groups of Cavs fans, and James has been getting more cheers when playing at Quicken Loans Arena over the past 2 seasons. James, who spends some of his offseason in his native Akron, Ohio, says he's not focusing on the changing perceptions from 2010, when he was booed heavily after leaving the Cavs in free agency following 7 seasons with the team. "I'm not getting too caught up in it," James said. "I'm grateful for fans changing opinions. I haven't done the Family Feud thing and surveyed 100 people on the street and said, 'Do you like LeBron or not?'" Though he was offered one of the neon green shirts with his face on them that said that the Come Home LeBron campaign was distributing, James declined to accept. Well. Top comments. Cleveland should be embarrassed. Oh, boy. This is another quote from somebody else here. "LeBron fans love to think he has always been the player he is today, which is just not the case. He has done what great players do, gotten better." That grammar's a little off, but what great players do is they become better players. This quote saying, "Remember when he had his own brand, make We Want LeBron shirts while he was still playing in Cleveland? Do we just accept the fact that athletes don't show loyalty anymore? Why is he even considering leaving Miami after all they've done for him?" Chris says, "Really pathetic." Well, look, I got a source, NBA scout Zach Barris, lifelong Cleveland sports fan, he joins us, talks NBA. He said it's all but a done deal. He said about 95%, 99% that LeBron returns next year. I don't know, the way the Cavs are playing. I just don't even like the talk. I don't even like the conversation. I don't like to say it. I don't like to think about it. I don't like paying any attention to it. I don't like pontificating on it. Not a fan. Not a fan. I cannot relive all of my frustrations with what LeBron did and how we did it. Please go back into the archive of some of the shows from 2.5 years ago. You'll hear. It's all up there at thenewamericanmedia.com, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. It's all up there. Take a look. So I'm thankful I get to hear this for the next year. No, I'm not. I am legitimately thankful that the Browns are mathematically still in the hunt. Quote, unquote, in the hunt. Hey, buddy, watch the violent rhetoric. Watch the violent rhetoric. Yeah. It's like irresponsible. The Browns are mathematically still in the hunt. I wouldn't say that it's a good chance that the Browns make the playoffs, but they played Jacksonville this weekend. Why not? I mean, we saw what Brian Hoyer was able to do. He came in, did all right. Jason Campbell did. For a couple of games. So who knows? Maybe Brandon Weeden can get some stuff done. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe he does. And maybe the Browns get their stuff figured out. How would I know? They're in the hunt. And I'm thankful for that. Yes, they've lost 2 games in a row. Oh, yes, it was very unpleasant, uncomfortable, lousy that they did. Thankfully, the AFC isn't that good. Browns are sitting at 4-7. Leaders 7-4. We beat them once. Well, we're going to end up 1-1. Beat Baltimore once. And we'll get to play Pittsburgh again. So anyway, I'm thankful they're showing some fight. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that Ohio State is undefeated. And I like that story. Did you see the story? The governor is urging. You gotta check this one out. Ohio urged to boycott the letter M. Columbus, Ohio, already crossed out on signs around Ohio State's campus. Citizens around the rest of the state are being asked to follow suit and boycott a certain letter of the alphabet in honor of an intense rivalry with Michigan. Ohio Governor John Kasich posted a resolution on his Twitter account on Friday that recognizes Scarlet Letter Saturday and encourages people to avoid using the letter M as the number 3 Buckeyes travel to take on the Wolverines at Michigan Stadium. Referencing other famous feuds, the fact that Wolverines were added to the threatened species list, and mentioning the only war between 2 states while crossing out every M in the document. Kasich added yet another element to a series that already captures the attention of fans in both storied programs all year round. I like it. We do hereby recognize Saturday, November 30th, 2013 as Scarlet Letter Saturday throughout Ohio, the resolution said. We encourage all Ohioans to avoid using the letter M when possible. The practice facility at Ohio State was already in compliance with the resolution earlier in the week, with scarlet tape crossing out all the outlawed letters as Coach Urban Meyer's team prepared for its regular season finale. Meyer had also covered up every other game on the schedule with white paper in the team meeting room, driving home the importance of beating that team up north. Above all else, even a Big Ten championship game appearance next week, or a pivotal spot in the BCS. It's different, Meyer said. It's just not another game. It's not, and our players know that. Does that mean we put less value on Indiana or less value on the following week coming up? I didn't say that. But there's an extra pep in the step. Do we want to make a big deal out of this game? Absolutely. That's the way I was brought up. We kind of go over the top here, and we always have. That approach goes all the way up to the governor's office. I love it. I love it. And I'm happy that the Ohio State Buckeyes are undefeated because while my Cleveland Browns have not given me a watchable product on a consistent basis since Bernie Kosar at the helm, it's been a while. All right, maybe a moment with Testaverde, maybe a moment with, remember the Tim Couch, Kelly Holcomb thing? Yeah, maybe for a second. But I'm happy that I get to watch real football out of Urban Meyer and the Ohio State Buckeyes. I'm happy that Bowling Green won the MAC, speaking of Urban Meyer. Bowling Green beat Buffalo today to claim the MAC East, Mid-American Conference East, beating Buffalo 24-7. Good work, y'all. And let me just say that Urban Meyer used to coach there, and he was the coach when I was living in Bowling Green, Ohio, when ESPN College Game Day came to campus. It was pretty sweet. Pretty disappointed when he left. Now, obviously happy that he's coaching the Ohio State University. So, it just goes to show. One year I'm not an Urban Meyer fan. The next year you realize he's rattling off, 23 wins in a row? It's kind of a big deal. That's really kind of a big deal. And when you put the body of work in there, it's tough to compare 2 years of just nonstop dominance like Urban Meyer has shown and not say that they're the number 2 team in the nation, should play Alabama that's had, the past 3 years dominated? Past 4 years? That's who I'd like to see in the championship game. And we'll see what happens with the Florida State quarterback, if the accusations are true or if they're frivolous and false. So, congratulations to the Bowling Green State University Falcons for winning the MAC East. Keep going. Keep winning. I'm happy the Indians made the playoffs. Just face it, the team still isn't spending a ton of money, but they actually went out. They got Michael Bourne. They went out and got Terry Francona. Look, the Indians did a few good things, and I like the direction they're headed. They're very competitive, and we'll see what they do in free agency. They're still going to have to spend, but they shouldn't overspend. It comes down to that really strong farm system when you had Albert Bell, Manny Ramirez, Kenny Lofton, Carlos Baerga. I know came from the Houston organization, but Sandy Alomar. You just look at all that talent that was homegrown. Jim Thome. All the talent that was homegrown. It's great when your farm system can do that. So I'm really thankful that the Indians made the playoffs. So those are just a few things that I'm happy for. And that's our question of the day. What are you happy for? Share your comments with us. Check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. Subscribe on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. Go on Facebook and search thenewamericanmedia.com. And go on Facebook and search. Wait, what did we have? What did we do? Oh, Twitter. On Twitter, at American_media_. You know what? It's been a long day. I got that tryptophan rolling through the system. I don't know. Some people say it's not even tryptophan. It's just the carbs. I don't know. Either way, I've kind of been enjoying the downtime over this Thanksgiving little holiday, if you will. This celebration. It's really important to just step back and say, what am I thankful for? Slow down. Just block everything out and calm down. There's a lot I am thankful for. And sometimes it's best to just focus on that. I know the show's called The Unhappy Hour, but 34 years of disappointment, they've kind of earned it. But the only way we're going to get out of this as Cleveland sports fans, if we... I really think that there's something to the collective unconscious, something to the fact that we've been let down so many times. I think we start emitting a very negative energy, and I think that even impacts the teams, the players, the fans, the announcers. And I think we need to start thinking a little bit more positively sometimes. It's tricky, but there's a theory out there that you kind of get what you put out there. And if we think success, maybe we're going to get success. Now, I know I'm talking next level stuff, but I do intend to finish this book. Only been working on it for a very, very, very long time. But this book is going to cover what happens to 3 or 4 generations of Cleveland sports fans when all they experience is a constant letdown from every major team. I think there is something that psychologically happens to a region when that happens over time. So I'm going to try to start thinking positive. That's why I wanted to give you some of the things that I am thankful for instead of just unhappy for on the Unhappy Hour. So stay tuned. We're going to bring in special guest Blake the Eccentric Wally. I co-host a show called Eccentric Perspective with Blake over on the FreedomizerRadio.com network. The show is called Eccentric Perspective. And what are we going to talk about today? I'll tell you what we're going to talk about today, because that one, it's going to be called Agree to Disagree. And we're going to talk about a few things. Let's see. We're going to talk about Obamacare. We're going to talk about Black Friday. We're going to talk about the NSA spying on porn habits. We're going to talk about CNN and MSNBC viewers have gone. They've lost half of their viewers in the past year. We're going to talk about death panels and Obamacare. In the talking points, we all hope that you and your uncle discussed over Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, if you haven't heard this story, people supporting the Affordable Care Act and President Obama and the Democratic Party and big government in general put out a bit of a memo of the things, the talking points you were supposed to use over Thanksgiving dinner to try to brainwash your family members as to why Obamacare is a great idea. I have lost my health insurance. I have been kicked off my plan because the president didn't deem it worthy. Ain't that fantastic? And if they can't run a website launch, I don't want them running my health. Just keep it that simple. I want the free market to handle this. If you like your insurance, you can keep your insurance. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Period. What a lie. So I'm a little upset about that. And by little, I mean very upset. I've just been lied to. With the IRS, with Benghazi, with a whole bunch of stuff. But really, I try to keep most of these subjects over on Agree to Disagree. But that's the point. We're seeking truth, challenging dogma, and having fun. We invite you to join us in that mostly civil conversation over there. You can agree to disagree. You can be a Pittsburgh fan and agree with me on disliking Obamacare. You can be a Cavs fan and you could disagree with me on whether Benghazi is relevant and why, if the media should have covered it, and if it should have cost the president a re-election, and if it should ban Hillary Clinton from ever attaining the presidency and possibly in 2016. But we're trying to have conversations. That's the point. Trying to keep it mostly civil and talk about it. So we're going to bring in Blake the Eccentric on Agree to Disagree here at 5 p.m. Pacific. Happy Thanksgiving. We're very thankful to have you as viewers, as listeners, as fans. And we're just going to play you a little bit of music for now. And then we'll be back on the other side, and we're going to get into some of the really good stuff. Aight. Cool.
Welcome back, netizens, to this newest edition in Juice Media series of rap news journalism with me, Robert Foster. This evening we're actively delving in depth to facts which affect all of us who dwell on this internet. And we've got to give a special welcome to all the ladies and agents from the NSA, AZ, or MI5. Glad you're listening in, because today's show is all about surveillance and how it's spreading from the streets into our modems. As we speak, laws are being tacitly written in to implement ways of controlling the expanse of this internet to keep us safe, we're told. But from whom? And will this place ever be the same if these plans go through? To find out, we connect with our first guest to comment on the matter. We're live at the Panopticon with General Baxter. General, son, good to have you back again with us. Explain why the state is spying on us.
My fellow Oceanians, as you know, we've always been at war with Eurasia. Or is it East Asia? Either way, it's war and we need division to wage it. But now the proles are connecting online, bypassing these illusory divisions of race, religion, and nationality.
Sounds grand to me.
It's a catastrophe. Centuries of hard work are being undone, profits are vanishing, and it's due to the internet. It's empowering humanity. We need to get this snafu under control rapidly.
How?
Behold the latest weapon in the war of terror. Our greatest invention since 9/11. Guaranteed to keep us free and safe forever. I give you the surveillance state, ladies and generals. Our secret wires log your key style. Monitor every single number on your speed dial. Rewind straight to your position with facial recognition and pinpoint you within 0.03 of a mile. We've put eyes everywhere without consulting you, keeping you safe whether or not you want us to. Soon they'll be no freedoms left for threatening. Then we'll have won the war. Take that, terrorism.
Brilliant. Thank you, General. We now interview our resident guru, Terrence Moonseed, for a different view.
Greetings.
How does this situation look?
I have one word for you, Robert. Double plus on good. The world populace of 7.4 billion are all headed in the direction of Orwellian totalitarian oblivion. My voice is hoarse, yelling about stellar winds, cold chilling them and trap wire weaving through the world wide web we all dwelling in. Face it, the all-seeing eyes in all of our Facebooks like a virus, and in these iPhones with Siri, or should I say Iris. Next in line is RFID devices and mind chips triggered by chemtrails the plague spray the sky with. This time it's too far. Check out the base they're building in Utah, where they'll be storing all your data for over a century. It's FUBAR, and under the outback is an entire tunnel of wires, an echelon base called Pine Gap to hijack our mother Gaia.
Hey, maybe your mother's gayer.
Boo-hoo. Why didn't you just kill yourself like most of your troops do?
That's it. Now you're on the cast iron list.
Hang on, General. Why weren't we informed about this?
Sorry we didn't tell you about our grand plan before. It was meant to be a surprise, under wraps in a store. But some spoil sports had to go and ruin it for all by blowing whistles in spite of the damn law.
Bill, Benny, and Thomas Drake are trailblazers for leaking these tactics.
Hey, civil liberty activists, this is all legal. Anything we do now actually is.
How did-
You can't question my authority thanks to this.
And that shit's global, people. In Australia, it's now legal for the government to store all SMSs, searches, and emails. Australians, it's taking place under your nose. Unless you wake up, all your data are belong to ACO.
Come on, everyone knows you can trust the government now. If you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to worry about.
That might be the case with things that are happening now, because most people agree with most of the laws that are being handed down. But once the Illuminati reveal their agenda for you, this surveillance will enforce laws you no longer consent to. But by then it'll be too late to protest too, and anything you've ever said, typed, or browsed can or will be used against you.
I'm confused. So what should we do then?
What should we do? Nothing. This is all an illusion. It's just a ride, a delusion, the Matrix, the Maya deceiving us.
Oh, you hippies really make our job so much easier.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're picking up a signal from beyond the space-time continuum. Quick, switch on the juice channeling portal. Wait, is that George Orwell?
Good day to you.
Wow, what do we owe this honor to?
I tried to warn you noobs, but I see you are actually fools, or else you thought this was an instruction manual.
Yes, so can you advise us? What would you have us do?
An open and universal internet is the most effective tool you have to address the issues that afflict the world at hand. Therefore, protecting it is the most essential task that stands before your generation.
I think I understand.
Hush, man. You must not lose the internet. Heed this mantra. Who controls the internet controls the data. And who controls the data controls the future.
We're losing you.
I leave you with a tool to use.
An onion?
Don't be simple, Robert. This is but a simile. It stands for Tor.
Tor?
Google it. It's for anonymity. This onion router open network helps considerably against tyranny, but its abilities only work if all you use it consistently. And even if you don't use it, run it so its force swells.
Thanks, Mr. Orwell.
From now on, call me George Torwell. If we'd had such tools when I wrote this, well, it would have been so much simpler to tell Big Brother to go f himself. The mother sucking piece of shit.
Thanks, George Torwell, for manifesting direct from this memory hole of history to impress on us these messages. We're told we need safety, which is precious, yes, but can a society that can enforce all its laws ever progress? Hindsight shows that many figures guilty of thought crime turned out to be luminaries and heroes before their time. But if a surveillance state had reigned then in this form and design, just think of all the progress we may have all been denied. Could lobbies for women's or gay rights have appeared and thrived? Would revolutionary ideals have materialized? Would science have pioneered or even survived if every word had been monitored by thought police and spies? Big Brother brings chilling effects, freezing our collective hopes. He doesn't protect our safety, but protects the status quo and threatens this internet, the one channel yet uncontrolled, whose openness we are now called upon to effect and uphold.